Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Yeah, thank you. Hope everybody's doing okay. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Let me see this video. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I just woke up this morning and I was like checking the news just to see what is trending, what is happening. I saw a lot of information, but yesterday we were dissecting and doing a post-mortem analysis of what happened last Saturday, and that was with respect to ANAMBRA state elections. And just waking up today, I was surprised to see that one of the stalwarts of the Obedient movement, and no shade, you don't want to be part of a sinking ship. The ship is sinking, and it's sinking very fast. You don't. You don't want to be part of a ship that is going nowhere. You don't want to be the Jonah in the ship going heading on for a disaster. Just one sec. Okay, let's see. Yeah. And that's the reality of what we face with the Obedient movement today. Do this. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it works out. Let's see if it checks out. This is crazy. Sorry about that. Resignation as a director of mobilization, Obedient movement, and structure. When they did this post, when they did all of these, whatever it is called, for the Obedience, I came out here and I said, this was a movement in a very wrong direction. Because it was more of a strategy to build a sub-political party without any firm root in the political party structure or the political party dynamics in Nigeria. That was what I said. Now, in a bid, do you understand, to kind of, I don't know what happened, but this is just more of what happens after there's a disaster that people want to jump ship because it's over. I told you it was over late 2023. I told you it was over early 2024. I told you it was over 2025. This is towards the end of 2025. Now it's clear as day because now everybody's now seeing that it's over and the retarded are now agreeing that it's over. Okay, but again, I'm just saying, no shades here. I'm not trading any shades to anybody. Let's see what this guy has to say. Today, I stepped down as the director of mobilization of the Obedient movement. I told you that the Obedient movement was ummeraging the Labour Party. And I wouldn't lie to you that there was no incentive to actually spin the Obedient movement as a very big group. Because Peter Obi couldn't stomach the fact that he needed to sit down and build a well-rounded political party. So this is what you get. Today, I stepped down as director of mobilization of the Obedient movement. It is important you read to the end so nothing is misconstrued. So this guy wants us to read to the end. Meanwhile, most of the Obedients don't even listen to the full context of every conversation before they jump to conclusion. But we might try to read to the end. I don't know if if it's boring, I'm going to move on. If it's boring, I'm going to move on. But let's read. Almost a year down the line, most of our short-term, medium-term, and long-term plan have not been met. I told you guys, idea is trivial, execution is painful. Everybody can build stuffs in their mind. Okay? Everybody can build stuffs in their mind. But when you need to what? Get your ass up the couch and move on and do something, it becomes a problem. Everybody talks good game about how they're going to do this, do that, or not. But if you're not a Dangote facing a refinery that you're trying to build and help Nigeria to be self-sufficient in the area of petroleum, then you can always complain. I can always come here and say, oh, Dangote is trying to, work with the federal government to hide stuff, to do stuff rather. That he could do it because the federal government is backing him. But the truth is that there are a lot of billionaires in Nigeria that would not dare do what Dangote is doing, putting everything on the line. Almost all the plans have not been met. Not even the short term. Not talk of the I can agree if the long-term plan has not been met, because at times long-term plan would definitely be more than a year. So again, I don't understand why he's saying that the long-term plans have not been met. I guess it means that the plan to even get to the long-term plan using the short-term and the medium-term goals would not be. I won't be part of optics and NWOKO. I've been saying it here that these guys are not just serious. From number one to the last obedient. The poor showing at the ANAMBRA election has also made my position untenable. Sorry, so this guy is now blaming ANAMBRA result. I thought you are the leader of mobilization. So what did you do in effect to help their situation in Anambra State? I want to know. I want to know. Like, if you're going to tell me, as I read on, and you're going to tell me what you did in Anambra State and the effort you put into place as a director, they love big names over that camp. They love big names. As a director of mobilization of the Obidient movement, how you helped Judge Mogalu in the Anambra election, then I'm all here for it. But if you're not going to tell us what you did to help the situation of your candidates in the Anambra State election, then sorry, count me out. I and my business have also been harassed non-stop by sympathizers and instruments of this government. I need to see facts about that. I need to see facts about that. We cannot just take your word for it. In what way? It's a role that puts a target on your back. We all know that. We all know that. Because it's politics. It happens everywhere in the world. Again, I have had to keep quiet. I have had to have kept quiet. Well, that's not a good way to. I mean, you should have just put it in ChatGPT or something. But anyways, I kept quiet so as not to discourage anyone or be made not to look like a whiner. Oh my God. This is the director of mobilization of the Obidient movement, one of the powerful movements in the world, according to the Obedience. This was the movement that wanted to take down the ruling party in 2023. What would have happened if you have given these people power? I'm just asking. I've spent approximately 40 million of personal funds, my own money, on donating for Obidient events, mobilization travels across the country, funding committee, evangelizing about the movement with calls for mobilization on radio airways in the rural areas, support local. Now you know. To run this thing takes a lot of money. But again, another question is this. You've spent 40 million of your personal funds, my own money. Okay, fine. How much have you made from the exposure that this stuff, this gig has given you? Because we can always say, oh, I spent my money. Like Peter Obi's like, how much is Peter Obi making from the contributions? Because people are always contributing to him. Number one, knowing the good work he's doing. It does some good work. It goes to places and all that. People of like mind will be like, I would give you this, I will give you that. Even those that are not really, that goes about destroying other people's business, like very dark man, they even still donate to him. So again, my question would be, how much donation have been made? You can't tell me it's zero. And if it's zero, I need to know. So he's saying he's been using his own personal money for doing obedient stuff. How is that so? Is there no funds allocated to this gig or to this stuff? Because you're a director of the movie, so there should be a certain budget given to you. But anyways, we'll move on. Okay, it goes on and on and on and on. The expenses never stops. Yeah, when you're running a political party, your expense is not expected to stop because you're mobilizing. It's a big country, even though small in terms of landmass compared to other bigger countries in the world, but 200 million is not a beans. And for you to be able to at least get to people, then you need money, you need resources. Okay. When you even to share the gospel, you need resources. It's there. You need resources. You need people to donate to your cause. So I don't understand. Yesterday I was telling you that there was a mini fight, a friendly fire in the Obedient movement, calling for Jack the Builder to come and give account of the finances. We're still waiting for Aisha Yusufu's reporting that she promised, because I said it's not my business how they spend their money over that camp, but I'm waiting for Aisha to kind of give us an account of how she spent her money. So before we go on, I don't know if you're listening to me, please, I would urge you to please subscribe, like, and comment so that we can keep pushing this. Thanks for those watching. Yeah. So it goes on and on. The expenses never stops, and they are mostly unplanned and sudden. You can see that again. If they're unplanned and sudden, then there's a problem. If it's once in a while, it's fine. But if it's unplanned and sudden every other time, that is making you spend 40 million naira of your own personal fund, and you don't have a way of reimbursement, then there's a problem. All was self-raised by myself. No, you're saying all was self-raised. I thought you said you've spent 40 million of your personal money. You're confusing me, and you're confusing my listeners here. From me, through me, let someone else carry that man to. Dr. Taco is privy to some of these. I have transaction receipt of almost every activity done. No money was given to the... Wait, what? No money was given to the Directorate of Mobilization? Really? No money. I cannot highlight that. I want to highlight it. I said earlier on that you should have a budget as a Directorate of Mobilization. Mobilization is the #1 factor in elections all around the world. The propensity for you to turn out voters for a local election is what becomes what #1 sacrosanct all around the world, wherever. The reason at times why the Democrats wins in the US against the Republicans is just because maybe some Republicans, a lot of Republicans are pissed off and they refuse to come out to vote. The enthusiasm to vote. So you could say things might be bad, that's one. But again, you should be able to also channel that energy to people coming out to speak against the government by what? Voting. So clearly, either the Obedient movement or Peter Obi does not know what he's doing, or this guy doesn't even know that for you to even accept this role in the first place, you should have had a budget. And I'm using the Obedient movement and Labour Party interchangeably because they've confused everybody and we don't even know which one is which. Just saying. I'm just saying. Now I'm moving on. It said there's no bank account even for the directorates. Wow. In fact, Mr. Obi, okay, has never asked what we are doing in mobilization. If there is any line that is a direct knockout and a direct repudiation of the 2023 Labour Party candidate, it's just this statement. And there's been a lot of bombshell, okay? But this final statement, Mr. Obi has never asked what we are doing in mobilization. I told you guys that people say, oh, Obi, I've never seen any hardworking politician like Mr. Obi. Today is in Kamfacha, tomorrow is in Benue, next tomorrow is in Indonesia. Day after is going to Rome to see if he can get crashed the Pope stuff. Right? I told you guys that as good as all those activities are, Peter Obi still seems to be lazy. because he is not doing what is expected for him to do, which is the heavy lifting and the building of a political party that will survive all odds. I told you guys that he was being a lazy politician, as it were. Now, again, that is just me. That's my opinion. Maybe it's very hardworking, but how do you set up a mobilization committee? And again, you know, there has been no communication. One of the things, and I don't want to carry water here for Tinubu because I bash him a lot. I've been bashing him a lot for a while now because of security issues in Nigeria. One of the things that, you know, APC, the way they thrive, because you have to understand how these parties work. They give you targets. You can see the Abia State guy, the deputy speaker of the National Assembly, jumping up and down, going to Abia every other week now. They've given the guy a target. You can't be deputy speaker and your state belongs to Labour Party. Even though I believe Labour Party is still going to win in 2027 anyways. But you can be a deputy speaker and you don't have a strong base. So we gave you the deputy speaker, but you have to what? Bring receipts. You have to what? Deliver. Mr. Obi has never asked this guy, what are you even doing? No wonder they struggled to get 10,000 in the last election when the leading party got 422,000. Nothing of such, no communication, nothing. And and I can attest to this. Because everybody in that movement, they are like a king. They run their own thing. Aisha is running his own thing. Morris is running his own thing. Obi is running his own thing. Zero coordination of effort. Zero. No self-awareness. But on Twitter or on X, I don't even know why they changed the name, but on X, they're the loudest one. They run circles around everybody on X. It's okay. Mr. Obi has never asked what we are doing in mobilization. Nothing of such, no communication, nothing. I spend those personal monies because I believe in the movement. Yeah, that's where we go. As a vehicle for a new Nigeria, you can't deceive us. I also don't expect any repayment back from anyone, okay? I've been blessed in life with a small fortune. I'm content and a very simple young man. Those who know me personally know this. As director number one, this was what I did. I helped spearhead the registration of Obidient online in conjunction with the IT Directorate. There were and still glitches. I told you, when you go for elections, this may not even translate to votes. Why? Because we've built another movement outside the movement that is trying to survive, which is the Labour Party. So there's a problem with identity. Which one am I? Am I Obidient today, Labour Party tomorrow, Obidient next tomorrow? I don't know. Okay, this was what he did. There were and still glitches, that is expected. With the IT team, I helped spearhead the registration of Obedience online. There were and still glitches with the IT team. But then, and that is just for a small subset. Okay? That's just subset. But the problem is this. When there's a glitch at the INEC stuff, these are the people that will first come to crucify him. And I'm not saying that there should be a glitch, but I know it does happen. IT stuffs happen here and there all the time. The next leader of the directorate is to spearhead door-to-door mobilization to reach every nooks and crannies of the country without a budget. We've laid the foundation with the online registration. It's always about online because that's the easiest thing to lift, right? Even with that, there were glitches. It's just to execute on ground with volunteers and get a clean sweep. We have just 3 months left to do this. I've submitted the blueprint for that to the operations team. I hope to see that. They're not going to share it because it's confidential. Okay, number 2, I've helped spearhead the activation of dormant support groups alongside Dr. Tanko. Most felt left out, of course. Most of them have dumped the... In fact, right now, as I speak to you guys, those that are really fighting against the Obidient movement were previously an Obidient. And there are names A lot of them have said, you know what, I'm done. The few ones are still trying, living in denial. Possibly because it's still working, they're still getting some recognition. The movement is over. I warned that this would happen. I told you guys this was what they needed to do. Let there be a big tent. Bring a lot of people in. There will be differences in opinion. There will be people that will backstab you. It's common to big movements. But again, they go online. They abuse everybody. They fight everybody. They kind of, break people just because they think that they're doing the Lord's work, but that's fine. I helped spare the activation of the dormant support group alongside Dr. Tanko. Most have felt left out. We've given them an umbrella. We had a support group convention, okay, in Abuja during PO's book launch in June 2025 and absorbed them into the movement. I helped structure the movement into 6 regional bodies. Okay, that's just following the normal stuff, so that's nothing. Provided support from the center. I contacted and met all the leaders in each state, visited everyone in their backyard to tell them that we see what they are doing. Obedient LG offices in every state. Some parts of Southwest and Delta already have this. The next director, so these are the work expected from the director. The next director is to ensure, whatever, I didn't know what that. Okay, the next director is to ensure every other state has this. Okay, offices in every local government. I thought that was the work for Labour Party. And then you guys giving them support, ensuring that they achieve that. So now Labour Party is running his own thing with all the problems that they have, and you guys are running your own thing with all the problems that you have. And then there's duplication of effort. There's infighting. We don't even know if the party has a structure. I don't even know I don't know if the Senator Nemadi has now been confirmed as a substantive leader for the LP. Obi is not interested, no longer interested in LP. Obi is just running his own thing, and that is what it is. I created LG structure. It's still small. For all states in Nigeria, Abuja being most active, North is being least active. Abuja is the most active because that's where the base of these guys are. The new leader must expand on this. This will be the nucleus of our polling unit agents, independent of any party. You see the problem here? Independent of any party. So they don't have a real party that they can call their own, but they want to build polling units for the thousands, hundreds of thousands of polling units in the country. You would know already that these people, I don't just want to call them, let me just leave that. So you got the Obedient movement and whichever party, maybe LP, because the goal was that they wanted to show Labour Party that they can stand on their own, which I agree. I don't believe in Labour Party anyways. But if you want to do that, you've got to understand that there are frameworks. Because even if you go to meet like the money bags, you need to show them that you have a plan to win before they support you. So else they'll just be giving you just, something that they consider that this is just a scrum that falls from my table. But if you want to get real financing, you have to show that you're able to deliver the votes. That's how it works. I created a research team for the Obedient movement where we research the ills of the APC party. I know they would have done well in that one. I highlighted and disseminated to all Nigeria every bi-weekly via short videos. I discovered that gap and immediately filled it by getting volunteers on board and worked on it. They churn out these materials regularly. Those cute short videos you see. How has that helped? I'm all for criticizing the government in power. If Tinubu is messing up and if he has interlopers around him, I'm all for exposing them. But how has that helped the party, at least the party that your leader says he is in right now, to show a good foot forward? Okay, this is becoming a long read and I'm getting so much tired. Even me, I'm tired. I created the Facebook page. Bro, what is this? What is this? You created a Facebook page, okay? And you pay the staff to handle it. We kickstart the Obedient Next Gen. It's a university campus youth network ably assisted by my secretary, director. Oh, there's a secretary, Mr. Monday Otene. We leverage the goodwill PO has among young people to harness young voters. Supported the Delta State Obedient Congress. single-handedly raised 2 million. Very poor amount directly to the to the Anambra State campaign bank account for polling unit adoption for the Anambra election to boost our chances in the poll. And that gave us nothing. That ended in a disaster. PVC awareness drive. I saw this thing and I was like, what is this? What are you doing for those that currently have their PVC to ensure that they vote for your party? Had engagement with tech experts in UK to mass produce cheap body cam from China. Oh my God. For polling unit agents, the one that you've not even been able to stack around the whole country. I've also scheduled a trip to China, which I have now cancelled. The prerequisite for getting paid as an agent is to submit those body cams. After a volunteer have reviewed footage, you get paid your balance. You see this? How do you review footage from hundreds and thousands of polling units? There should be a more robust way to get whatever abnormalities that occurs on the election date. Not by you reviewing footage and then you get paid after you review. Number one, a lot of those footage do not make it to your decks. Number two is that people may not even upload right. Number three is a lot of noise. So why don't you create a system where it's only, you're going to pay whoever is going to wear the footage, or whoever is going to be your polling agent, they're going to be paid anyways. You guys say you're going to be paid when you submit the footage. They're not going to go. Because the other parties are saying that we're going to pay you regardless. We don't even need your footage. What this is, I don't know. I mean, yari, great resources will be expended. And it kept on, whining and blabbing. Okay, let's see. The next mobilization director must follow up on this. But as of right now, I'm off. Mr. Obi has received a copy of this resignation via WhatsApp. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? You are a directorate of mobilization. This guy is pissed off. They've done him dirty. So he wants to resign. He cannot even have a chat with the number one principal. And this is one of the biggest supporters of Peter Obi. What's up? Okay. Now, for him to resign, he didn't even have a call, have a meeting. This is how I'm going to strategize. This is what I'm going to talk about. He just said he has received this copy via WhatsApp. So the guy WhatsApp Obi, and maybe Obi is one of all this his movements, or his journey, or his whatever he's doing. And I just received it via WhatsApp. And I believe that when Obi received it via WhatsApp, he didn't even call the guy. He didn't even call the guy, because if he had called the guy, this guy would not come out and post it. He'd have been well, done in a way, because you don't even do this. Book a call with the guy. I thought you guys said he's whatever. This is as far as I'm concerned, this is like the number one position in the OBIDIENT movement, whoever is in charge of the mobilization. The national coordinator, there's a spelling mistake there, and my state coordinator has also received a copy. All future correspondence on the OBIDIENT movement can be passed directly to the national coordinator, Unisa Tanko, which I believe is failing woefully right now. And the future for me, I intend traveling the world and just have a good time. I'm done with Nigerian issue. I'll focus more on my business and try to get, maybe try to start seeing how I can work with the APC. I'm just saying, he didn't say that. I'm just saying. I just completed my School of Politics, Policy and Governance course. I will continue with the business course at Oxford, Cambridge. Not made up my mind yet. Next year, I might also seek elective office. All these guys, they've made it with the OBIDIENT movement. They are moving on. Those that made it with the NSAS also, they've moved on. A lot of them are out of the country. But those that get killed, I'm sorry. But again, these people leading this opposition, they fleece the whole movement. They fleece them to oblivion in the name of we're fighting for you. I might also seek elective office. If this guy's going to seek elective office, I'm telling you, there's a high likelihood that maybe sometimes in the future, you will see him standing on your mandate. And you know what I mean by that. They may even want to try and draft it. Okay, you just go for maybe one local stuff under the APC. That's why I said don't be deceived. Make up your mind on what you want to believe. Don't let anybody bamboozle you. I will also continue to advise the other leaders of the movement. They become family. We talk every day, but necessary, but I no longer want to be at the forefront anymore. I will also keep speaking about a new Nigeria, okay? And we condemn bad governance and the APC. Why not just condemn bad governance all across all board, including the LP, including the APC, including the PDP? All when meaning Nigeria must continue this activity. We know how they start, and we know how they end. If it's in the APC that he wants to be condemning tomorrow, I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised. So that's it, you know. I've read the proper operation consultation to coordinate the polling unit structure, blah, 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 engaged and funded by Pistol Bills to help run the campaign in turbo fashion. There's no time. I keep screaming it, but it's like I've been screaming into a wall. They have to be on salary / oh, now you want money. Which I agree. Which I 100% agree. So that's it. Let me see. Yeah, he keeps talking a lot, bro. Some think we are somehow benefiting from being directors. I see you are. There's what we call social capital. There's the name structure. It's been on your CV. Now that you're saying you are doing one political stuff, I know that you would have mentioned it in your forums or your classes online or wherever it is that you guys are doing it, that you are a director of mobilization. Maybe that's even what helped you get the admission in the first place. So don't let's come and be talking like, you know, like we were born yesterday. Something we are somehow benefiting from being a director. I see the comments and they are very discouraging, very thankless indeed. In fact, one of the criteria for being a director is that you have to be financially capable to carry that directorate on your own, which is a red flag. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Trump, Donald J. Trump, is a billionaire. Okay, what around 5 to 7 billion, or maybe less than that. The guy begs for campaign money from his supporters day and night. He's not selling his personal fortune. Even though he contributes his salary, he doesn't collect salaries. But again, I can't tell you here and lie to you that he benefits from some of the perks that comes as being a president. When all these leaders all around the world flies to Washington, they stay at his hotel. The Trump Towers. So let's not pretend like, you know what, we're not getting anything from this thing. I'm sacrificing my life or my everything. You're getting name recognition. That name recognition would open doors for you. Don't come and kind of make us seem like we're childish here. The key task that must be done now, it has this bolding. Let's see if it makes sense what he's saying. For the mobilization director is having polling unit agents in all polling units in Nigeria. I've been shouting this forever. The lapse was shown in ANAMBRA. If you're telling me that they didn't have polling agents in all polling units in ANAMBRA state, then please just close that shop. That's just one state where your principal was a governor in the past. For me, every other thing is secondary. It is currently at 10% completion now. 10%. An election is just 1 year plus. Dr. Kanku can confirm this too. We have barely 11 months. Wow, this is really, really important. The key task that must be done for mobilization directorate is having polling unit agents in all polling units in Nigeria. I've been shouting this forever. Okay, 10 completion, we have barely 11 months. The next director must have his eyes on that clock. Time is running out. Time is already out. It's not even running out. Maurice Monye, former director of mobilization obedient movement. Damn. I never see this coming, bro. I didn't see this coming. It's crazy. I didn't see this coming. Guys, that is it. That's Maurice Monye, the director of mobilization of the obedient movement, saying it's done. It is done. It's over. It's freaking over, bro. I told you this would happen. We're going to see more people, right? This is politics. I don't really watch movies. But if you've watched House of Cards, and if you've been paying attention and you're focused on, and you have some focus on international politics, what's happening in elections, how people win and lose elections, and all of those stuff, partisan politics, primaries and all that, you shouldn't be surprised that LP is failing naturally. You don't even need the ruling political party to intervene into the affairs of APCs for you to know that this is crazy. It's garnered 780,000 views. That's crazy. The guy keeps talking, bro. And I think that is it. Morris, the first comment. I respect your decision and opinion. I also acknowledge your contribution and support for the movement, but I think this post is really not needed on this platform. I told you. Again, when he sent the resignation via WhatsApp to Peter Obi, why didn't Peter Obi call him and coordinate with him and tell him that this is what we need to do? Now, he didn't get it. I believe Peter Obi did not call the guy. And the guy is hot. The guy is angry. But that's how Obi operates. I'm sorry, you guys have to learn the hard way. This guy is also, everybody keeps writing long story. What's this? What's this? As regard of your other point, I have answers too. Quote me anywhere and any day that Soludo, even in celestial government, can't and will never defeat Peter Obi in Anambra if Bush will appear on the ballot. This guy knows nothing about anything. So maybe he knows something. Yeah. Like, what is he saying? You have to understand how elections are won and lost. If Peter Obi is on the ballot in Anambra and is not running on ABGA, it's going to be an uphill battle. He's going to lose. Don't be deceived. And again, he doesn't even need to be on the ballot for him to get up. No, see, if Obi had been on the, if Mogalo has been on the ballot, I maybe won like a 120,000. Maybe because of that, the ruling, the incumbent governor has like, say, maybe 300 and something, but still won. I won't be screaming like this. I won't be shouting like this. I won't be talking like this. But dude got 10,000 votes. The person that won got 422K. That's failure. That's failure. I kind of understand, yes. If Obi was on the ballot, he won't get 10,000, but at the same time, the person on the ballot that Obi supported, and see how Soludo was just yabbing the guy yesterday, talking to the fact that it seems like the guy has some issues up there. That's politicians for you. I've not spent millions of naira to support this movement. Can you imagine? And I'm one of those that have been attacked both online and offline. So you've not even spent any money, Bukos or Bokos or whatever it is called. I'm not supporting Peter Obi because he's a saint. I'm canvassing for him because he's a lesser evil. I'm more transparent. I don't even like evil at all. I don't want lesser evil. But Obi does not have what it takes. Okay? Obi doesn't effing have what it takes. Which one? What happened to the daughter? Anyways, God bless you, sir. Endurance and strategy is key in politics. Thank you for all you've done. Although I'm not a fan of the BDM movement, it is indisputable that your enthusiasm and sincerity to drive a positive in Nigeria is evident. However, like John Maxwell said, everything rises and falls on leadership. Yes, I've been saying that. Okay, anyway, I'm going to move on. Here is someone who called Hakito Gate a mo for leaving the group. I remember when this guy left, they came for him. They came for him. They came for him. They came for him like big time. And it wasn't even like, he left. He didn't even criticize. He didn't write this big op-ed. He didn't write this story. He didn't write this old stuff. He just said, I'm leaving. And oh my God. Oh my God. When Kenneth Okonkwo left, he was angry. And he put the whole blame on Peter Obi. This guy is implying that Peter Obi is also the problem. How dare you not even coordinate with your director of mobilization just for once? How dare you? Nigeria is a complex country. A lot of things. You don't know Nigerians. That's why they were telling Abiola, we are behind you, we are behind you. Where the thing came, bro, everybody, you are living your life now. I'm not saying people shouldn't sacrifice. But again, Nigeria is a unique country. What they respond to is different from what you think they would respond to. Who they vote for is different from who you think they will vote for. It's despite all the pain and all this suffering. You go to election and it's as if the person that is crying and jumping up and down, they don't even know he exists. See, let's just move on. I'm telling you, let's just move on. It's moved on. It's moved on. In lieu of the resignation from the obedient movement, what's truly needed is more Nachi Obi among his leaders. I don't understand. Means someone that has courage. It's proper. It's over, bro. It's over. I know the APC guy will be from Kenneth Okonkwo to Akitogate and now Morris. I've all called on to question the leadership quality of Peter Obi up to sub to vis-a-vis taking responsibility. More to follow in the coming days. Sad that the movement is becoming necrotic. The movement is becoming like a Showore movement where same people just left and then the others left are just echo chambers of stuff. And I'm not saying that these guys are not doing any good. Don't get me wrong. They're doing good, but again, it is what it is. We galvanizing for other Labour Party candidate by Peter Obi is his undoing. There was a guy that ran in Oyo State as LP, I think, governorship candidate. The guy even went as far as accusing Peter Obi for being a bigot. I didn't even mention his name for once. He runs this thing with a, I don't know. It's getting obvious as day. Like, I said it here before, that the greatest ally of President Tinubu is Peter Obi. Okay. You are a good with a high spirit, whatever it is. I'm gonna move on. So now all the TV houses, including News Central, I think News Central is majorly owned by people that are sympathetic to the obedient movement. But I won't be taking in any interview. I want to be left alone. Why they mention News Central TV? Stop now. Oh my God. But now you get News Central now. Abby, you should have just made your resignation letter simple and straight to the point, then send the memo privately to Peter Obi. Now you have demoralized the morale that's not there of so many obedient and have given weapons to the opposition to attack with a lengthy letter. Wish you luck. Your resignation is also based on what you witnessed during this Anambra state election that just took place. The rigging, anomalies, and vote buying is just a premonition of what 2027 will be. So no need to waste valuable time and resources. We need to check on this brother, please. Anyone close to him, this sudden denouncement will be cathartic. Please, I beg of you guys. Look, my brother, you will talk to me. Oh, my chief, what happened to Nigeria must be better in our time. You can't leave the struggle like the Baba. The guy is moving on. The guy is really moving on. Yeah, the guy is moving on. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Nnamdi Kanu is still trending. This guy's been trending for a while now. To those who ask me, I hereby confirm that Kanu went to the Supreme Court today to file some time-sensitive processes crucial to his case. So the guy is moving to the Supreme Court to file some stuff. Let's see.
So when you're not in her office, okay. So this is the thing. They give a directive that count 7 doesn't exist anymore. So that the prosecution should amend it, change it, it doesn't exist. I still play to that 740 law.
Yes, it was an error.
It's not an error, big error. So I want them to correct
that. That was one of the motions we asked, that plea should be set aside.
That's correct.
And it has not been had.
Okay. We'll see what happens. So today we've updated that. It appears personally. Look at the update. Look at the update, bro. On today, let me see, 13 November, Kanu appeared personally at the Supreme Court, escorted by DSS official. Kanu submitted a letter directly to the Chief Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, urging discontinuation of the trial due to the repeated law basis. Supreme Court staff reportedly hailed him with a chant of Onyedu Igbo for leader as he departed, drawing widespread attention on social media. Video shows excited crowd and staff interaction, highlighting his public support. Again, this is the core argument, okay? I mean, I can't read through all this. We all know what he's fighting for. The FHC government on November 20 could foreclose Kanu's defense if it doesn't comply, potentially leading to conviction. However, a Supreme Court push may delay or derail this. So now, possibly, it's telling them that they don't have any right to try him. Okay? That's what they're saying. We'll see what happens. Social media buzz shows strong support from the Southeast. Of course, what do you expect? The case remains fluid with potentials for the Supreme Court intervention before November 20. For real-time updates, monitor official stuffs and all that. Yeah, so right now is actually at the Court of Appeal. No, hold on, one sec. Let me just get this right. Don't let me give you trashy stuff. Yeah. Okay, there's a motion filed again at the Supreme Court here. Then FH Federal High Court fixes judgment date. So he's actually currently at the Federal High Court. Okay, so once that happens, Kanu's legal team issues statement November 10. Okay, yeah. And then, alleging that the Supreme Court resurrected a dead law, they argue it undermines the rule of law and sought its nullification. Again, application to Court of Appeal. Kanu filed to stay FHC judgment delivery in November 20, reinforcing argument on invalid charges. We saw the outburst at the court, saying, what? And again, it's more of, the case is now bordering on terrorism, and banditry and all of the killings that we've seen in the Southeast. I believe, and possibly also some of the things that happened at the Lekki toll gates, some of the destructions that happened. Again, I'm thinking, and this is just me talking, the best way out of this, if you care to listen, is for them to actually reach a political, I would say, agreement or a political compromise, because there is no way in heaven heart that you want to convict this guy to prison for life, because they're saying that it's between prison for life and death sentence. There's no way. While you are having guys that are terrorists being integrated back into the society, people that have literally bombed, burnt, and maimed people, you're trying to integrate them because they're in the north. So I'm saying that what is good for them is also good for them. If we want to fight insurgency, let's fight it. But you can't be keeping this guy in prison and then the leader of another group, you're making him, you're treating him like a celebrity. And it's coming for peace meeting with guns. They come for rallies with guns. And now they call them banditry. This will lead me to this. What are we talking about? This will lead me to this.
Is my name. Look. I couldn't wait to get back home.
So Abel Damina has been out of the country and now he's coming back and lending his voice. And I'm so happy. I listened to this yesterday night and I'm so happy with everything that he said. Against what some other people are saying, that the US wants to come and take our oil. What are you talking about?
And be a part of the ongoing conversation. There's been this conversation going on whether there's a genocide in Nigeria or there's no genocide in Nigeria. And I listen to certain individuals who say there's no such thing in Nigeria. Well, whether you call it genocide or you don't call it genocide, let me speak as a victim. I am not just a student of research, but I'm speaking as a victim of these gruesome circumstances around the Nigerian people, where innocent lives have been taken away by some people who think they have more right than others in this nation. And some people have reduced it to herders and farmers clash. No, sir, this has been ongoing. I grew up in northern Nigeria. My father was a pastor with the Assemblies of God Church. One morning we just woke up in Assemblies of God Church, Samaru Zaria. This somewhere adjacent the north gate of Samaru Zaria. My father was a pastor. All of a sudden, we woke up in the morning, no provocation, nothing. And the next thing we were hearing was people were just running all over our house and the church with machetes and all of that. The next thing was they started pouring petrol all over the building, both the church and the house, because our house was attached to the church. And the next thing was flames. Everything was burned right down to ashes. We narrowly escaped, found a place where we could shelter ourselves in the military barracks. Eventually, they brought us back to the lecturers' quarters of ABU's area. And we had to camp with a family for weeks and months before we could rebuild and start life all over again. That is long. I'm talking about 1986, 87. What about the Metasine situation? Metasine was a sect of the Islamic religion who went around burning and destroying and killing Christians back in the 80s. This is far before there was anything like farmers and herders clash. Then fast forward. What about in the year 2000, where over 2,000 people were killed in Kaduna? Year 2000. What about the over 300 people that were victims of the Miss World in November 2002? All of them, they were not a part of the Miss World.
Can you see that? This guy started from 1986. 1986. It's been a constant, systematic operation.
They were just on their own. Something happened somewhere else and they became victims of it. Lives were killed, houses were destroyed, and whenever they are carrying out this charade, they will be shouting Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and they will carry their matches and carry whatever they have, and they will move in their numbers. And everybody on their way that is not chanting what they are chanting becomes a victim. I can go on and on. A few years ago, I was preaching in Kaduna for a great man of God. And I only succeeded in preaching Sunday morning service. After the service, the next morning, as we were preparing for the next service on Monday, the next thing I was hearing was the whole city is on fire. Kaduna is on fire. Please stay in the hotel room. Don't come out. They are killing, they are burning churches. They are killing everybody. That is how we were stuck in a hotel. Even in the hotel, we were not sure of ourselves. Because they were going from hotel to hotel, room to room, killing people that were not chanting Allahu Akbar. And somehow, God saved our souls. After about 4 days, we were able to leave Kaduna. But unfortunately, a friend of mine who was a pastor, Reverend Northcote Andrew of blessed memory, was caught in the midst of this as he was escaping for his life. They caught him because he was wearing a collar of a bishop. They hacked him to death, dug the ground, buried him and put a cross there. It is that little wooden cross that made people know that there was a corpse in that place. And this, my friend, was buried. These are real life situations. So for somebody to just sit down in the comfort of his home, maybe somewhere in the South, and be saying there's
exactly in the South, that's where all this obnoxious explanation is coming. All those talking about America, there are two ways. Those that are against it in the North, most of them are sympathetic to this stuff. Why is Dangote not carrying his refineries to the North? We need to address the real issue. And I told you, Dubai has a way they address their own problems. Zero tolerance for terrorism. Zero tolerance wherever you are. They banned a lot of all these stuffs operating around the world. There is a coordinated global jihadist move against Christians. And you might think they're killing Muslims, so I told you, the first go for the Christians. Is when the Christians have moved on, or they're no longer in that area, then they turn against themselves, which is expected anyways.
No such thing in northern Nigeria. My brother, you've not been a part of it. We've been right in the heart of the fire. I remembered one night, these Muslim boys were all over the place in my school, and they were shouting, Allahu Akbar. They were looking for me. I had to escape. That night, my saving grace was that I found a female hostel, and I slept under the bed. By the next day, I left town. For what? I did nothing. No provocation. Just because I am preaching the gospel. And of course, some of them believe that once you are not of the Islamic faith, you are an infidel. And they believe that if you kill an infidel, you will sleep with 7 virgins.
No,
all of this.
72. Thank God they have, 72 freaking, I don't even know how you do that in hell. I don't know how you do that in hell. You don't see the good part. If you want to be a Muslim, but go to Dubai, get their own style of Dubai. According to them, the Dubai one will be more like a denial of that faith. It's BS. And that is why I believe this is the time the whole world needs to beam the light on what is happening in the northern part of Nigeria. Because right now, no real help is coming from the politicians in Abuja. They've come to believe that this is normal.
This kind of indoctrination that leads to violence at the slightest provocation, whether it has to do with the people or not, you just get on the streets. What about the Reinhard Bonnke crusade? I'm talking about the Reinhard Bonnke crusade in Kano, where people were hacked, macheted, and killed just because a crusade where the gospel of Christ was going to be preached. And that is why I thank God for people like President Donald Trump, who lent his voice to what is going on here. At least, for whatever is what, there's an ongoing conversation all over the world. The matter is no more put under the carpet. And we don't want just conversations. We want some action. We want some action. And in the midst of all this, it snowballed into the herders and farmers clash. It snowballed into banditry, and everything becomes very complicated. Very complicated. And people are dying by the day. There are people in northern Nigeria, places like Borno State, places like Plateau State, places like Benue State, places like southern Kaduna, where whole villages have been taken over by some of these bandits, by some of these Islamic extremists, by some of these Boko Haram people. They've taken over whole villages, driven the villagers away. And somebody said there is no such thing in Nigeria. Why do we have IDP camps? Why do we have IDP camps when we never had an earthquake? We never had an earth tremor. Why do we have IDP camps when there is no natural disaster? Other than the fact that people are being made victims of what they have no knowledge of. In a secular state like Nigeria, where all religions are permitted to be practiced, this ought not to be allowed. This ought not to be allowed at all. Our government have a duty. Now, when you live in a country like that, where you don't know what becomes of you the next day, you go out, you don't know if you're going to come back. Where you go to church, you're not sure if you're going to come back. When you live in such a country, it's almost as if there's no government. And because the first responsibility of government is security of lives and properties. That's the first responsibility of government, whether at the federal level, at the state level, or at the local government level. Because the population don't have access to arms.
Yep.
But unfortunately, some of these bandits, some of these terrorists, some of these extremists, they are carrying AK-47s, and you wonder where did they get them from?
Yeah.
In fact, it's unfortunate that at a point in Nigeria, there was even a local government in Borno State where Boko Haram drove all our Nigerian security forces and put their flag there.
Yeah, we saw the jihadist flag. We saw the jihadist flag, and the reason why they still kill is because they're searching for God in that deranged manner. I told you, Ishmael is a religion that brought Islam to the world. But the problem is this, that when Abraham went to sacrifice Isaac, Ishmael was not there. Because if Ishmael was there, he would have heard God say, no, you cannot kill a man in the name of looking for God. Because I myself will give Jesus Christ as my sacrifice to you. You don't have any right to kill any man in the name of any religion, in the name of seeking God. But Ishmael was not there, unfortunately, on that day. And because of the transaction that happened between Abraham and the bondwoman, I'm not going to go into all of the stories. That is why you have an Ishmael today trying to look for God where he can be found. Jesus is the only answer from that exchange. I'm just putting that out there.
Very unfortunate. And the government of Nigeria need to do something quickly. Otherwise, where this is taking us to, we do not know. Yeah. This has to come to an end. The ADP camps need to be emptied. Let people go back to their homes. Let people go back to their villages. Let people go back to their farmlands. Let people go back to their habitations so that they can live normal lives. So they can live the life they are supposed to live on earth. You know, this is very important. And this conversation is so critical at this time. And it's critical that I add my voice to it as a victim of this situation in a country like Nigeria. And I'm believing God that the day has come when this menace will surely come to an end. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I love our northern brothers and sisters. I just pray and I hope that all these problems will come to an end. We can have a Dubai North instead of a Somalia, or instead of a South Sudan, or instead of a North Korea. I'm just saying. People have lived down their lives, paid the ultimate price for believing in Christ. What about the Muslims dying? It shouldn't be that way. But I'm telling you, the Christians are the first casualty. I mean, you have to think about it. What's going to make a Muslim to be killed? Then you should know that there's actually no more Christians surviving around. It's just the reality of the northern Christians, especially those in the far north. And not even in the far north, because we've now been seeing continuous incidents in the middle belt. Because also in the middle belt, there's a strong presence of Christianity there. Plato has been a casualty and all that. There's still a lot of reactions following these. I saw something on Arise TV yesterday saying the president has actually not addressed the country. My own is just do something about it. But he hasn't really addressed the country. He's just spoken here and there in trickles. That doesn't make sense. You need to address the country. It's trying to play, I don't understand, you know. I don't just understand where he stands in all these things. And it becomes difficult because when you don't understand where Tinubu stands in all of this, it becomes a big problem. Okay, you know, at times this thing goes on and it goes on and on and on, and it's quite interesting. I really appreciate everyone that are joining this morning for this broadcast. There's still a lot of reactions following the resignation of Maurice Monye. There's still a lot of stories.
So now, according to Lena,
I'm sorry, I don't want to play that now. A lot of stories still happening. A lot of things happening. There's also, you know, talks about 2027 PDP's convention. But I have to go now. And I'm asking for a favor, please. I would love if you could like, subscribe, and comment. I'll start bringing our conversation online as we go on. It's still in the early stage, but I'll start bringing the conversation online, your comments online, and, you know, reacting to it in real time. I want to appreciate everybody for joining in. Thanks so much and have a great day. Possibly I'll try and see if I can come back again later today. And yeah, that's it.